So hello and welcome back to the channel and welcome to another walkthrough video. In today's video we're going to be driving the Sauber C9 LM at Le Mans at the 24-hour circuit. So coming up, as per usual, we'll be doing a flat out lap around the circuit, and then we'll take a little look at all the settings that I've adjusted, and there's certainly a few things that I really need to point out. Then we'll take a little drive around the circuit at slow speed. I'll try and point you in the right direction for curbs that are useful and curbs that will send you off the circuit. And then we'll take a look at the replay as per usual, which I've needed to do in 2 stages because it's such a long circuit. So here we are at the Le Mans circuit, and this is courtesy of Olivier Adda, who suggested using this combination of car and circuit on the last video that I produced. I was asking if anyone wanted me to cover things. So here we are, we're in the Sauber C9 LM version, which I presume is the Le Mans version. But I haven't really spent much time looking into it, but certainly a car that I really do enjoy driving and a circuit that I really did need to learn. Now looking at one of the fastest times on PC, he managed a 14.5, and I really struggled to match most of his sectors, especially sector 2, which he was blinding, but eventually I came through and managed a 1.8 in sector 1, a 27 in sector 2, and absolutely smashed his sector 3. So there's certainly a 3.13 I think available, but how he manages to set I think it was a 1.2263 during sector 2, I really don't know how he does that, and especially the one at 1.81 in sector 1 was really pushing me. I think I managed a 108.3, but sector 3 seemed to be my best setup, and just managed to eke back some of that time that I was losing in sector 2 over sector 3. So without further ado, let's get into the video and see how it looks. So if you aren't already subscribed to the channel, please take a minute just to press pause and hit that subscribe button. It would really help me build the channel. Thanks very much, guys. And on to the setup. At the setup, we're going to be running a soft tyre. Hard tyres just don't offer enough grip. Front obviously is going to be slightly softer than the rear, just to allow for that rear grip and the front end turning response. Looking at the brake pressures, obviously this is going to be something that's going to be personal to yourself as to how you brake. There is no ABS on this car, so locking up the brakes is certainly an issue. Brake bias, definitely push towards the front, but if you push too much, like 60%, it does tend to lock up the fronts too much. Running a tiny bit of brake duct on the front and on the rear, just because numerous occasions I just felt like the brakes were overheating. And looking at the downforce front and rear was a real issue, really trying to find a balance for straight line speed and for cornering ability. And the longitudinal weight bias, I think it's just 2 clicks towards the rear. Looking at the caster angles and camber angles, again, this is a really balance between cornering ability and straight line speed. And again, running a slightly lower front ride height, not as low as it will go, but running slightly lower at the front as it is at the rear, obviously to get that rake on the car. And the suspension at the front is slightly harder than it is at the rear, just to emphasise that rear grip. So moving on to the steering ratio, as you all know, I'm using the McLaren GT3 wheel, so I'm wanting to go from lock to lock without letting go of the wheel. Toe angles and anti-roll bar, obviously these are going to be to use towards aiding to get the car to turn almost, and also acceleration out of the corners without squirming too much under acceleration. Moving on to the dampers. As you all know, we're going to always set the rebound slightly higher than the bump, and obviously because I'm running a harder compound or harder tension through the fronts as opposed to the rear, that's going to be comparative through the dampers. 100% pressure on the boost, and the radiator's closed out almost fully, but it does suffer with a little bit of engine damage towards the end of the lap. And the engine braking is set to 1 because it just seemed to lock out too much through the rears under quick deceleration. The gearing ratios have been adjusted slightly to aid, especially through 4th gear and 5th gear on the acceleration down the long straights. And obviously there's no traction control, ABS, and the fuel mapping is at rich. Moving to the preload and the power ramp angles, preload's just been lowered slightly, just to give that balance between off throttle and on throttle, and the clutch numbering as I've pushed this up to 8 because it just seemed to be a little bit smoother on and off the throttle. Moving to the power ramp, I put this to 75 just to stop the car from oversteering too much under acceleration, and the power ramp I've just left as it is as per standard, and that's the setup. So here we go, straight into the lap. So take this chance just to know the limits, and running slightly wide, you can get one wheel onto the green section of the rumble strips there, and then hard on the acceleration. Just bearing in mind that I am using the sequential gearbox to change up, and I'm using the paddle shifts to come down through the gears. That is a real key point into this lap. As we come through this section, just seeing there, just don't take any of the rumble strips as you come through that section. You can take as much curb as you like, but taking the rumble strips would really cause you an issue. Again here, just braking, staying in 3rd gear, just hugging this curb really nice and tight, and then back on the power through here, running wide slightly there, and then dropping down again from here into 3rd gear. I don't take the apex perfectly there on this slow lap, but just taking as close as you can to the curb as you come from that section, but without taking any of the rumble strips. Up to maximum speed down here, up into 5th gear, and just really bouncing out as much as you can on the acceleration, looking for that 300 yard board, and we're going to be looking for the 200 yard board to start braking. 2 clicks down to 3rd gear, then down to 2nd gear as you come through this section. Take as much curb as you can on the right hand side and again on the left hand side before you're back on the power, accelerating out as wide as you can, just allowing the car to drift up into third, then into fourth, and then obviously into fifth gear. Pushing down here, we're going to be looking again for the left hand side, or the right hand side should I say, for the 300 yard board, and then we're going to get the 200 yard board, and just between the 200 yard and the 100 yard board we're going to see a tree that's going to be our braking point just about now, and then we're going to be coming down 2 clicks down really quickly into third, then into second, and then powering out up into third gear. Just let the car drift out wide, but not running too wide over that line, or else you'll incur out of track penalty. Accelerating up into third, fourth, fifth gears, and we're going to be looking again on the left hand side for the 200, 100 yard board, and then braking just after the 100 yard board, and then just coming down nicely. Hug that curb as much as you can before you get back on the accelerator. And this is a section that I really do struggle with, just getting the traction out of the corners as you accelerate away, just trying to maintain the car rolling before you get the power down. Just pushing hard on the acceleration here, right the way up, past the 300, 200, and then braking hard, 2 clicks down straight away, and then another further click down. I think you could take this much quicker, this section, but I don't manage to on that. Up into third, then down into second, and again this is a really struggle, this section, just trying to maintain a rolling sort of resistance so you're not getting too much wheel spin on acceleration out of there. And this is a really fun section of the circuit. It's probably one of my favourite sections, this. As we come through here, the next 200 yard board, straight away 2 drops down into third gear, really hugging this right hand bend, and then back on the power, up into fourth gear, and then pushing really hard through here, quick lift, and then back on the throttle, and then again dropping down into third gear, hugging this right hand bend, and then again flat on the power, just tinkering with the acceleration, and then obviously up into fourth gear, maintaining fourth gear, and then dropping down 2 drops down into second gear. Run the curbs as much as you dare through this section, and then just nice and gentle through this section, hitting the green curbs but not running 2 wheels over the white lines or you'll incur penalties, and across the line. And as I've mentioned before guys, please do hit that subscribe button. There's so many people watching these videos and not hitting the subscribe button, so please help me out with the channel and hit that subscribe button, and enjoy the replay. Thanks for watching, guys, and thanks to all my subscribers for staying glued to the channel or looking forward to each video. If there's anything else that you would like me to cover, or if there's any track and car combinations that you'd like help with, or if there's anything else about the game you'd like to delve into or you'd like me to cover, please do add a comment in the comment section. Hit that like button and the subscribe button as per usual. And thanks for watching. And as always, ciao for now.